Hi everybody, coming at ya Thursday evening with Chloe. I think she smells dinner on my shirt. Do you smell dinner? Did I get dinner on my shirt? Oh, so nice outside. Ready to go run around? Go get it. Oh, whoops. All right, let's get to getting. I hope you haven't had too much trouble finding the videos recently. For some reason, it kept going to private instead of public, and I didn't know that at first, so I think I fixed it. So here we go, chapter 13 of The Secret Lake. An unexpected welcome. No sooner had the children turned out of sight than Jack's urgent whisper cut in from one side. Over here! You gotta go! The mole's just danced again! As they glanced to their right, he stepped from behind a tree. Go where? Said Lucy, clearly put out. Home, said Stella. She smiled apologetically. And where exactly is home? Said Lucy, frowning. And don't you dare tell me it's in Australia. The children all laughed. It's not far, said Stella brightly. Emma will tell you in the morning. I'm sorry. We will see you again, though. Lucy sniffed deeply, failing to hide her disappointment. Oh, just in case. Stella's cheeks reddened. She slipped the friendship bracelet off her wrist. Can you give this to Emma from me? What on earth is that? Said Lucy with a frown, as Stella quickly slipped it onto her wrist. It's a friendship bracelet. Can you hear that little tweeting sound in the back? Can you hear that? There's some baby cardinals in this bush right here. Aw. Stella smiled and shrugged her shoulders. It means you stay friends wherever you are. Already, the others were heading off. Thanks again, Lucy. You were brilliant. Emma will explain. Then she turned and hurried toward the woods. Jack insisted on rowing them back, even though he flinched each time his back brushed the edge of the boat. So much for our midnight feast, he chuckled. Got more than we bargained for, eh? Tom immediately started giggling. Between them, the children pulled the boat up under the tree. Well, said Jack, suddenly awkward. I got you to thank for... The way they spell this all is trying to sound like some English dialect. It's hard to read. I got you to thank for saving me. For saving me, and for saving me Pa by the sound of things. He cleared his throat. Was sure fine to meet you and have a safe trip back. Stella swallowed hard. I hope your father gets well again quickly, she said, smiling. I'm sure he will now. Mr. Gladstone knows the truth. He'll be back at it work in no time, is my bet. And for the Gladstones, most likely. Goodbye, little 'un. Jack held a grubby hand out to Tom. Yours got spunk, and you'll do well in life, nipper. Tom smiled and nodded, clutching his trowel in one hand as Jack shook the other. And you keep digging. Never know what you might find in that garden of yours. I definitely will, said Tom. Bye for now, Jack. He climbed up onto the tree, onto the first tree nodule. Can you hear that? Tweet, tweet. Here, Jack, take this. Stella held out the little orange torch. Tom's already done the tunnel in the dark. I'll just follow him. Jeepers, you really meant it. Cheers. With a delighted smile, Jack took the little torch and shone it up into the dark mass of branches. Stella grabbed onto the first nodule and was soon climbing up after Tom. Good luck, Jack called after her, and good night again. With the help of the torch beam, Stella and Tom made quick progress and soon found themselves amongst the densely packed branches which, being so close together, were easy to locate once the torch light had faded. We're here, whispered Tom, suddenly feeling earthen walls instead of a tree trunk as he groped for the next branch. He quickly located the first ladder rung, stepped up onto the next tree branch up, and found his head inside the tunnel. Time to go home, he whispered, as he peered up to a tiny well of daylight in the distance. See you again one day, I hope, Jack. Get a move on, will ya? Urged his sister. As the children crawled through the undergrowth for a second time, squinting at the daylight, a dry twig cracked outside the bush. Tom and Stella froze on all fours, hardly daring to breathe. This time, it really was Charlie Green's breathless snort. Moments later, his green Wellingtons, those are boots, appeared less than a meter from Tom's nose. What if he sees it? Each thought, two pairs of eyes fixed beyond the boots to the log on top of the mound. Come on out, you two. I know you're in there. Tom and Ella crawled sheepishly out and were surprised to find Charlie Green now sitting on their log. Well, he snorted, it ain't a bad idea, and certainly not one worth hiding in me bushes for. The children stood up, brushing dirt and twigs from their hands, hair, and knees. In fact, continued Charlie Green, it's a very good place for a seat. Nice spot of sunlight here most mornings. Tom and Stella reddened and smiled stiffly as Charlie Green handed them their lunch boxes. They then skipped off around the bush and out onto the lawn. What's got into him? Said Stella as she hurried along, shoving sandwiches into her mouth. Tom, disinterested in his food, was frowning. Back already? Murmured their father from behind his newspaper. Already? It's 5 o'clock, dear. Their mother had paused from her piano playing as the children appeared. We met two sisters. They invited us in, said Stella, quickening her step across the room. Their mother smiled. You see, dear, I told you it was only a matter of time. She resumed her playing as Stella raced up the stairs, chuckling. As Tom entered his room, he stopped and stared all around. He tried to picture the enormous dining table, the red velvet chairs, the chandelier, and the enormous paintings. He then studied the wall separating his room from Stella's. Finally, he turned to the fireplace. Stella! The initials! They dived towards the fireplace and stuck their heads underneath. Tom's heart sank. Of course, the chimney was bricked up. He should have remembered. With his head hung low, he stepped back onto his earth treasure box, scattering its contents across the carpet. Cheer up, Tom, said Stella brightly. We'll be able to go again sometime. She opened Tom's French door window and stepped onto his tiny balcony. And now as she breathed in the sweet scent of orange blossom and looked out towards the trees, she began to smile. Things here are definitely improving, she would tell Hannah on Facebook that evening. She frowned thoughtfully. But how on earth would she code a message to say she'd traveled back in time across an underground lake? Tom, in a world of his own, lay down on his bed. Something was bothering him. It wasn't the chimney. Though he'd have liked to unblock it, there was something else. But he couldn't quite put his finger on it. I wonder what he's thinking. That is the end of chapter 13 of The Secret Lake. See you next time, guys.